Today I'm going to take you through how I light night interiors. Night interiors that transition from practical light into moonlight, as well as that fragility that happens with moonlight. I love the ability to play the digital sensor right on the edge where you can barely see detail, just in the shadows. I've never been a big fan of really hot backlight on night exteriors, and I love it to be very underexposed and moody, but just having enough detail to be able to see into the shadows. And what we're going to do is I'm going to take you through that whole process. It starts with setting a camera down right at the angle that I would like to shoot this. Now, obviously, I got a lot of lights blazing here so you can see me talking, but immediately we're going to start to turn these lights off. We're going to work with just a practical light. We're going to bring in our moonlight sources or urban sources. We're in a New York apartment. We're going to be influenced from metal halide lights outside, and then we'll also transition into going into moonlight sources. So I would plop my camera down, and I would kind of set an exposure that is always going to be wide open. I've shot around 21 movies and a television series, and most of the time it's T2, whether it's blazing day exteriors or night exteriors or night interiors. I try to always keep that shallow depth of field. I think it really plays three-dimensionally.
What's happened?
Now, there's sometimes in action that you have to go to a 2.8 or a 4 so you can get everything in focus. In the cars on Need for Speed, when I was doing all that action, I was playing everything more around a 4. But for drama and these type of movies, I really like to play in that 2 range. Okay, our character is going to walk in. He is going to sit down. He's going to set his alarm. Do a little action here, maybe look at a pill, decide not to take it, and then he's going to turn off the light and lay in bed. So with that, we need to create some light gags because we're going to need to turn off this light. As he turns off the light, any light that we have accenting that light will need to turn off with him. And we're also going to have moonlight coming through the windows. Now, one thing that looks incredibly unrealistic, and I see it on many films, is where they snap the lights on, and when you snap the tungsten lights off, they snap the moonlight on. We're not going to be doing that. We're going to have the moonlight already playing. It's going to be tickling in the background. It's just going to be apparent enough for you to see it and believe it as either a moonlight source or the urban source. Okay, let's turn that light off there, and let's turn this light off, and let's kill that for a second. I just want everyone to see what the scene would look like with just one single practical. So we're wide open at 800 ISO with one single practical, and there's Ross. Now, he's kind of lit, but he's very dark. There's 2 ways to go about lighting like this. You can light the background, which I kind of like to do first, is I like to get my moonlight going. Know that he is going to be here, but I want to get the moonlight at a balanced level to be able to play here. Now, having said that, we have this practical light that was illuminating him ever so slightly, but we're going to have to augment that from something over here. This was incredibly hot, and he was incredibly dark, and you didn't see anything else in the room. We're going to have to bring a light source in from here, so there's going to be some accents that we're going to have to add, as well as our urban light coming through the window. Let's start with keying him first with a Westcott light over here. When you're using practicals, especially like these barrel lamps and stuff, they are a very warm tonality. These Westcott spider lights match that tonality. We can put honeycombs and everything on it, which I think we're probably going to have to do, or we'll dim it down and just go one circuit. But let's play it horizontal over here, and let's fire it onto him like this. Color temperature wise, what we have to match is 2270. So that's what we're looking to go for, to be able to match that light.
And the reason we like the Westcotts is because the color temperature is very warm.
Same globes that we actually have in that light right there. So we're going to mimic this light. Now the reason I'm starting and building with the practical light first is because that's going to decide how bright my moonlight is based on this light being on. And then we'll go from there. I love this mood right here. This mood is perfect. Coming from this light is absolutely awesome. It's just not bright enough. And if we put a brighter bulb in there, then it's just going to be bright on the wall and bright on the bed, and it's, you know, it's not going to be any different. So that requires us to bring in our light.
So the great thing about the Westcott is we have 3 circuits. So we can turn them on one at a time. That's the first circuit, the second circuit, and the third circuit. That's probably too bright.
Exactly.
So that's 2 circuits now.
Now go to 1. Okay, now let me see my color temp. We're 2476. So let's dim that down.
Coming down.
Down, 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 down. Eric, I see your light reflected in the mirror, but it looks absolutely perfect. Like the color, the tone, I love how it's light and all that stuff. So I think we just get a tape ball. Let's go to 4,000 Kelvin on the A camera, guys.
That works.
Good, nicely done. Now what I like about this is it does feel like it's coming from that practical, you know? I mean, it's wrapping him around, it looks realistic. I got this light here that's a little, it's riding the line. I got enough light on him, and I love how it's fallen off on there. And I'm worried that if we honeycomb it or something, then we're gonna lose that kind of single source. You know, it's gonna get too focused. Because I love the detail that it's kicking up in there.
How far under is this as far as the IRE is concerned? Like, how low are we willing to let these shadows go?
That's 18 in there.
18, okay.
It's definitely dark, but I think that the mood is nice.
He's right, okay.
Okay, so let's read this light. 1.5 on the Xeen 24 mil, and I'm a 2. We've got that base level. Now let's get an M8 back there, and I want to talk you through matching color temps. Just like we did with the practical light, you want to be able to match exactly what is out there in the real world. If you're matching an urban vapor or a sodium vapor, or a metal halide, then you want to match that source exactly. So we have a metal halide. Now, it's not going to be functional as well as a nice M8, so what we're going to do is we're going to fire this up, and we're going to read its color temp, and then we're going to match the color temp with the M8s. That way we can be much more controlled, we can spot it in if we need to, we can flood it out, we can scrim it. These things are a little uncontrollable at best. The idea is, imagine that there's a metal halide outside. We got brick wall. Let's say this is in between the buildings in New York City somewhere, and this metal halide is illuminating this area. And so we're going to want to shape this through the windows and give nice streaks of light across there. And we're going to do that by using these M8s and getting the gel worked nicely. Then we're going to go and use our white ceiling bounce that you see up there with some LECO technology to be able to just pinpoint specific areas that just gives you this beautiful soft bounce that doesn't fly all over everywhere. You can scrim it down and blue it a little bit. So we're gonna create kind of a cold tone in the shadows in the bedroom, and then we'll use these cold metal halide feel to streak across, mixed with the warm practical. Now, while we're waiting for that light to come up, let's also set our overhead. So Dave, let's bring in our Movi, because I want to get a graphic top down. When the lights turn off and he goes into the bed, I want to do this kind of swirl effect. This kind of haunting turn is going to be happening from overhead. We've retrofitted the toad in the hole with a junior receiver onto this menace arm, and we're going to send this up to get our overhead shot. Now the 24 is not going to be wide enough, so I'm going to need a 14 mil on this. So let's change that lens. I want to get super wide. Yeah, I'd say 4,000 with a 1.3 magenta. So that's probably at least half green. Let's try half green and see where it gets us.
Yeah.
So let's go half green on these, and then see where that warms those lights as well with the half green, and see if it's around the 4,000 range.
Yeah, okay. Half
Okay.
green. We may need to add some CTO actually to those, huh?
Well, I've set my camera at 4,000 degrees.
Okay.
And I want this to be a little colder, so the metal halide is really not grabbing me in
Probably
regards.
a little too warm, actually.
Right, so I
Yeah.
go half
Okay.
green and let the HMI
Excellent.
probably play there.
Okay. If you want this light to spill across his head when he lays down?
Yes,
On
so
the pillow?
when he's laying down where
Right
Ross
through
is
there.
there, go this way a
So,
little bit more, Ross.
As a gaffer, you'll stand where you want to put the light, and you look, and if you can see his face, when you set up the light here, it'll hit his head. Pretty simple, but a lot of people don't realize it's really important to look where the light's coming from to see what you're going to hit.
Exactly, and I also want to put that farther back.
Exactly.
So, because this is the cool thing about light. Just imagine this. If we're here with this light, if I'm right here, look at how much I'm going to spread. As I come back, all of a sudden it narrows. So we don't want this light flying all over the place. We don't want to feel like the metal halide sports fixture is right outside. We want to feel like it's distant. So we want to take it back as far as possible so it's just one streak of light across him. And then that angle that we set, because our most important person to hit is our actor, so we can see him in bed, then that angle will dictate this angle on that window, okay? So let's go back, make sure the ballasts are off to the side so you can go back to the wall as far as possible, and then we'll match that angle.
Okay, let's use the barn doors to keep it off of that window. So use the barn doors on this light, put the big doors on the sides, and pinch them in. They don't have to be right to the edge of the window, but you want to try to keep it off of that window a little bit. Let's spin the barn doors, so we're using the big ones.
Now, let's get some black wrap and wrap that light.
Here's some.
You got some? Yeah, I want to just make sure this light doesn't fly all over the place.
Particularly this side.
And this white wall and everything too, because then it just
bigger piece of
adds to
black
it.
wrap.
Because I'm going to have Dave come in and also flag this so this isn't so hot. But right now, let's put the green on.
Okay.
Put the half green on. Yeah,
we
it's
need
going to go into
clothespins
that
for this.
window.
Oh, here's-
Your direction here, James, is to try and nail this end of the bed. We got that angle through there, so I think you're more like this. Right here. So you got to go more lamp right, I think.
Lamp right, about 3 feet.
Let's look at the color temperature on this. Now that we have trying to match our metal halides. 1.4 magenta. Well, let's see quarter. Maybe quarter will get us in there. Might be too green. Yeah, that's way too green.
Okay. Do we have a roll of 8th green?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Let's
Okay.
cut a piece of 8th green.
So what I'm doing right now is see the shadows on his face? By bunching up the curtain, it makes really interesting shadows. So it's like soft light mixed with hard light. It just gives us mood. You can see him right here. That's kind of nice. getting that. And we could have a fan blow the window if we wanted to, just to get a little movement. Let's get our little box fan from over there.
Shane, so that's 1/8 in addition to the 1/2.
Okay, let me see how that feels. Okay, put the 1/8 in. Too much. We'll just go with the 1/4.
Okay.
I mean the 1/2 that's on there.
Great.
Now let's raise this up. It's way too low.
Okay,
Okay.
right about there.
I'm liking that height. Dave,
Go up with that as well.
can we do some
Put the angle the
topper
same.
on that so I don't get that spill on the silver ceiling and hitting that white wall there?
Yep.
By hitting the white wall up in the corner there, as well as the silver ceiling, it's going to ruin the mood in the room and not make it as moody and contrasty as I'd like. Double. Throw a double in there, please.